to talk about feeding suet in the summer months. It's basically hot weather. We get this question a lot. Some people say, "Do I have to stop feeding suet? When the temperatures warm up in the spring, or do the birds need it?" Those type of questions about suet in the summer months. And what we've noticed, especially at the store, and hopefully that's just because of good education, people are feeding suet quite a bit longer than when we first opened the store. Back in the day, people are feeding suet well into the summer, if not feeding it all year round now. So it can be done. And today's video is we're making this to help you straighten out some of those myths and how should you do suet in the summer months. First off, again, suet is the internal body cavity fat of a cow. It's mainly the kidney fat area of the internal part of a cow. They get the nice clean fat from in there and they render it down and make it into cakes that include usually you can get pure suet cakes, but usually the cakes are made with other ingredients like peanuts, nuts, fruits, some cheaper suet, dump in a cheap bag of birdseed, things like that. So that's the basic formula for suet. So what is the difference if you want to feed in the summer? Why can't you just feed a traditional suet cake? Well, let's see, I got a couple of examples here. So let's see. I'm going to get used to the angle of this camera. Hopefully not so glary. Well, this is a traditional suet cake, and it is very, if you can see, it's kind of glistening, very greasy looking, and that's the way it should be because there's a high amount of beef fat in there. And that the problem with that, when the temperature warms up, if you're feeding that in your traditional suet cages in the hot weather, that beef fat will start to ooze and melt and turn black and get nasty, and it's very unfavorable for feeding. Is a mess to feed, and it's icky, and people go, "Oh, I don't want to deal with this anymore," so they quit feeding. But there is an alternative. What the suet companies do is they make this guy, which is this type of cake. And I don't know how well you can see it, but this is a much drier, doughier cake. It doesn't look nearly as slick and greasy as that other one does. And these are the summer formulas. They're called no melt suets. This one and the CNS, the big company that we carry, they divide theirs into treats, which are the winter formulas, and the delights, which are the summer formulas. Not all companies use that the marker, but if it is a one that won't melt, it should say it on the packaging. And those are the drier, doughier ones are much. Well, you can use them 365 days a year. You can put them out. You don't have to worry about the heat bothering them. A lot of people find that their birds don't like them as well, and that makes sense because they don't have the high fat content that is more valuable to birds. But they're very successful. I mean, I have people who buy them cases at a time, even this time of year when it gets very, very hot. So you can feed suet in the summer months. It typically is a nutritional substitute for insects in the winter for birds. And obviously during the summer months, there's lots of insects available. But if you're trying to attract the greatest variety of birds and you want the good diversity in your backyard, offering up suet during the summer is a way to, again, further provide nutritional benefits for your birds, and especially birds like woodpeckers and nuthatches and chickadees, which take advantage of suet probably more than any of the other species, will continue to come in, and they bring in their babies whenever they fledge to show them the free sources of food. Now, there's lots of ways to feed it. Again, the traditional suet cages. The thumbnail that went out has the roof's backyard. That's an upside down suet feeder. Try to keep the starlings out of it, and of course the blackbirds can be a bad problem on suet, especially during the summer when they're here nesting. But there are ways around that, and we've got other videos. I'll post a link up here about discouraging the blackbirds off of your suet year round. So you can feed it and feed it safely. I have some people who say, "Well, I go through suet cakes so fast, I don't have to buy the drier, doughier ones because they go through it so fast, they don't have a time to melt and get icky and things like that." And that's fine too. I mean, if you're one who goes through suet cakes that fast, you don't have to buy the drier ones. The drier ones too tend to be a little more expensive. So You don't have to feed them if you're going through suet cakes fast. But if they go slow, my yard this time of year, I go through them, but not nearly as fast as I do in the winter, fall and winter months. So I definitely will switch to those drier ones in the summer months. So great idea for a program. We try to mix it up. Again, leave comments if you like the stream. I think it's called StreamYard, the program I'm using. If it works well and the video is good, so let me know about that, because I want to keep expanding on it. And give us a like. Give us a share. Send in ideas for future programs, because like we always say, we want to talk about what you want me to talk about. So please do that. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe. The YouTube channel is growing great. If you haven't been there yet, if you go over and visit that, I'd appreciate it. It's called Mark's Backyard Birds, which is scrolling across the bottom there. So thank you again for tuning in. Have a great day, and we will see you next week.